wasn't at yesterday's games, but I was at last weekend's game, and at one point in the fourth quarter, we looked in the end zone, and there was over 40 fans that were just for Billy and the family and all that stuff. And it brought me back to the memory of when Mary finished her high school goalie career, and she was playing in the Twin State game, and she was able to look up and see about that same number. We took a picture at the time, Susie did that, and it's above Mary's bed in college. So Billy, I don't know if you've got that picture printed out yet, but the one from last week, and I'm sure there was ones of yesterday, that's the stuff you're going to be able to cherish for the rest of your lives.
It'll be above the bed in my dorm too.
We're interested in hearing more about where that college is going to be. So next family, correctly, Billy, now this is the number 9 family, so the Barb and Glenn Cousins family. So for anybody who's going to speak, come on up.
Alright, there's Glennie.
Alright.
Hey!
So I wasn't prepared to do this, but I will speak for Barb and our family, and I know that she would love to be up here expressing, like the rest of her siblings, her love and just how blessed she is as well. She's part of this incredible family. I, as well, am so blessed that 31 years ago I met her, and I just have all these memories of Billerud Court back then, when I met all you guys. And I came in to this family of 10 and learned very quickly how loved all the Canes were and how many friends we had in town. And I'd run into people either at Billerud Court or somewhere in town. They'd go, well, which Cane are you? I think it was Tommy or Ryan or something. We got to live at Billerud Court for a month back in 1986 when we were renovating Mansfield Avenue. And that was just a real special time that I always think about. Nate was 2, Allie was 9 months old. And we camped out in the big room at the end, which was the boys' room, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you were in there, but just all these great little things that I got to experience in that month, and eating at the big table with the bench on both sides, and all these great little carryovers of things like, in the dinner, Frank would make little toast points out of the corner there, and we'd keep the toaster on. And every other night or third night, there'd be someone else over for dinner, whether it be Nolan and Mary or Eljon or somebody, extended family. But I learned all these extra things about all you guys living in that house. Brian's little hockey locker in the hallway. There's still stinky stuff in there, I think. And how you lived in what at one time was just a porch. And it had to become your bedroom because the family was so big, and I don't think there was any heat. I remember going in there one morning early. We had to wake you up or something, and I think it was, there was just frost on the windows, and you could see your breath, and just classic stuff of Billerud Court. But and then we're just blessed to live in the Cane home still and keep that in the family, and love to host every other Christmas there and just be part of this incredible family. So glad we're having this great day for you. God bless you.
We're down to number 10. Brian's come out pretty well. Given his trials and tribulations, growing up, some of the memories, Thanksgiving was huge, obviously, at our house. One of the only times we got to have a full meal. We used to have, we played a lot of athletics, and we used to have this thing called the gauntlet out back, which basically was, you know, you got the football and you got the crap beat out of you going through whatever boys were there. And then one of my personal favorites is Brian was real little. You guys probably don't know this story, but we dressed him up in just a jock strap and sent him to the dinner table.
I can see that.
Yeah. We got banished, the older boys got banished, actually it might have been me. Got banished from the table for a while. But he has a lovely family, and we are now going to hear from the shortest one, Mr. Tyler.
Youngest one.
Yeah.
Youngest.
Shortest too.
Short, okay.
Chris is not yet up.
Are you standing up?
All right, so Grandma and Grandpa were born I haven't rehearsed this yet. They were married in 1947, so I made a top 10 list of what happened in 1947. Their president was Harry Truman, and during the business and the economy, Henry Ford died, leaving a fortune of $600 million. And after that, Americans were able to purchase the first new cars manufactured since the beginning of World War II. Sports. The Yankees won the World Series over the Brooklyn Dodgers 3-4, and that was the very first televised World Series. Also that year, Jackie Robinson became the first African-American player on a Major League Baseball team, which was the Dodgers, who just barely lost. Arts and entertainment. A good movie was The Gentleman's Agreement. A couple of good TV shows were Kraft Television Theater and Small Fry Club. And every single week, they only could televise for 18 hours. A good book that was out was The Diary of Anne Frank. There was a hurricane in southeast Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. And the cost of items. An average cost of a new house was $6,600. And the average wages per year, $2,850. Cost of a gallon of gas, 15 cents. Average cost of a new car, $1,300. Cost of a loaf of bread, 13 cents. 13 cents, and the cost of a United States postage stamp was 3 cents. And there was one final fact that happened in 1947 that was the best, and that was, of course, that Grandma and Grandpa got married. Love you guys, me.
Nice job.
And Brian with a final little ditty here.
So we've heard a lot about family, but there's also the part of all the friends that mom and dad have throughout the country, and I've often told people that mom and dad could drive to Florida without staying in a hotel because they would jump from friend to friend, and mom would always say, our dearest friends, and you know, they could be in Oklahoma. And they have always been able to be great examples of all the different friendships that you have had. So I reached out to one of those friends, and I thought I'd make a little presentation regarding that. Tom Cousins of Atlanta, Georgia is the founder of Cousins Property, created in 1958. It's a real estate company specializing in urban development, acquisitions, finance, and management. If you Google the name Tom Cousins, it reads prominent real estate developer, sports supporter, philanthropist, and visionary. His business highlights span throughout the country, but are focused primarily in his hometown of Atlanta. He is known to have completely remade Atlanta in the 1970s and 80s, and is responsible for a great deal of its entire skyline. His sports highlights feature being the previous owner of both the Atlanta Hawks and the Atlanta Flames. He's also an avid golfer, holding a single-digit handicap most of his career. He's also the man responsible for the revival and redesign of East Lake Golf Club, the home course of Bobby Jones, and now the permanent location of the year-ending PGA Tour Championship. But his pride and joy is not the golf course. It is the neighboring East Lake Meadows. Dubbed in the early 90s as Little Vietnam, it was one of the most devastated, impoverished, and crime-ridden communities in America. Through Tom Cousins' gargantuan and tireless efforts, major financing from the golf course, and over $25 million of his family's own money, they transformed East Lake Meadows into a thriving community that has become a national model for urban revitalization. So you ask, why does this information about a successful Southern businessman have to do with mom and dad's anniversary? Well, I will tell you. Back in the 1960s, a young mayor from Burlington, Vermont called upon this new Southern company to see if they could help in his urban renewal. A business relationship developed and a friendship was created through a mutual love and passion for their hometowns and through golf. The work that they accomplished in downtown Burlington that stretches from Church Street all the way to the lake spans over 40 years and is a major impact in the Burlington we know today. It also explains the urban renewal tours we had to endure as kids after church each Sunday. The highlight of their golf relationship, Dad being able to play Augusta National twice. Knowing the bond that each man shared for each other, I decided to take a chance and write a letter to Tom Cousins to inform him of Mom and Dad's milestone. 2 weeks to the day after contacting him, I received this letter in return.
4 minutes, remember.
Dated October 8th, 2012. Dear Frank, I understand from your son Brian that you and Jane will be celebrating 2 big milestones. It's my pleasure to send my congratulations and best wishes to you on your upcoming 65th wedding anniversary. If the good Lord is willing, Ann and I will be celebrating 57 years of marriage next March. How blessed we are to have found our soulmates of a lifetime. I also understand, Frank, your 90th birthday will be in December this year. I send you best wishes on this momentous occasion. Brian told me, and I'm very envious, that you are still playing golf and shooting your age. Unfortunately, after back surgery and neck surgery, I've had to give up golf and devote my time to physical therapy. I still hold out hope of returning to my favorite pastime someday. I remember fondly our times of developing together in Burlington, and it would never happen if you hadn't stood up to all the naysayers, and there were a lot of them, who said it couldn't and shouldn't be done. I'll never forget appearing before one of the largest public gatherings of my career to ask for their support of the project. I'm now retired from Cousins Property and spending my time with our family foundation. We recently started a venture called Purpose-Built Communities, which takes lessons learned in developing the East Lake community to other cities across the U.S. We are partnered with Warren Buffett and Julian Robertson and have launched projects in New Orleans and Indianapolis, and many others are in the early stages in several other cities. I'm enclosing a DVD about this initiative that I think you'll enjoy. Ann and I send our love to Jane and you and hope you continue to celebrate these life achievements for many years to come. Signed, Tom G. Cousins.
Anybody else want to say anything else? Because this is it, I think. It's still on.
Oh, wait, that question.
I'll just finish mine because I'm really impressed. I'm very fortunate to have my own daughter, and you know, it's wonderful. And I look into her eyes, and I know she's counting on me, like I count on you and my family. And you know, she brightens my heart so much. But you have everybody in this room that you feel that way about, and I can't even fathom it. It's amazing. You must be filled with joy. So, congratulations.
Chris Kane. Yes, no?
Hey, we can't close that, Chris.
Thank you, Jane. I was just thinking that had you gotten married 5 years earlier, you now would actually be celebrating your 70th anniversary, and also probably had time for 4 more kids. And Thomas, I liked your story. It sort of reminded me of my wife, but she wouldn't have turned down the diamond bracelet, or the Mercedes, or the vacation home. You ain't just getting into that. What a great gathering. Reminds me, about 30 years or so ago, we had a family reunion at my house on Mallets Bay, the house before this one. And there was about this many people. My folks were there, and it was wonderful. We've got a great picture that I think everybody's got. But what a special family it has been. It's interesting for me because not only do these are my relatives, many people in this room are among my very best friends. Michael, Billy, Tommy Briner, Billy O'Brien, people that I spend social time together, and it's amazing. It's been an amazing time over many, many years. Let me give you a little bit different perspective from mine in terms of Frank and Jane and the Kane family in general. I started in the insurance and financial services 40 years ago, and I had nothing. I didn't have anything. But what I did have was a really, really good family name. It was very well respected in this area. And that's due to L. John, that's due to Frank, that's due to my dad, Noli, and sister Virginia. And anywhere as I went, you had to screw that up. You always had to have that respect. They paid their dues, they were family people, they had good morals, spiritual values, and they give into their communities in every regard. And for that, we all need to be indebted. I know personally I am for what I've been able to accomplish in the Burlington community, and that part of it's been great. But for an awesome gathering, and congratulations to you folks out there.
Well done, Chris. Unless we've got any other ad-lib speeches, I think it's time for, and I know that you guys, I think, each have something, but I think it's most appropriate to call you guys up together.
Yeah.
Come on. Together. You guys come on up. You can present separately, but side by side.
I'm never really good at this, but it's really real kind of inadequate now. But we keep talking about families, and that's the biggest thing in the world, is wonderful families. And it goes back to Leo and Bess and Jim and Irene and come on, Frank. And all the rest of that generation of parents. Tom, Sister Virginia.
Grandma Brown.
I'm actually up here really to introduce the lady on my left. She was the one that kept us all together at Villa Court. She ran the show. She made those magic meals for dinner that Tommy and Michael could have eaten all by themselves, and they fed off the girls. A couple little stories, little anecdotes that I told before, but I thought we ought to repeat. One of them was, and I told Father DeForge today that Noli and Noli was my best man. We were back in the sacristy, and I looked out at the church, and it was starting to fill up. People coming in, and the carpet down the middle and all that. And I said to Noli, what the hell am I getting into? And Noli says, you're getting cold feet, it's too late. So, and then another one having to do with happy anniversaries. This must have been 40 years ago, because when Jane and I came out of our bedroom quarters, there was a streamer across the place right in Villa Court there, and it said 25 frickin' years. And that was Patricia's contribution. So the next kinds of years of that were our 50th, and that's when Mary Jane was doing the Falling Leaves up at Stowe. And here we are now with 25 of those, 65 of those years, and it's amazing. And we have a lot of naturally affection, and we have pride. The pride isn't in ourselves, but in what has been formed all around this room and in other places. It's been an absolutely great run, and the good Lord has been awfully good to us. Health-wise and every other way. And yesterday, I think Mary Jane will tell you a little bit, when she gets going. We had a revisit to Billowdale Court yesterday. There's a young couple that has lived there for 13 years and they're rebuilding the whole house. And there was a lot there. Jane originally wanted her whole 10 kids to go with us, and that seemed like too big an idea. So that we can tell what happened over there and what they did to the different rooms. But the guy who's doing it is a young doctor, a pathologist in surgery up at the college there. And I told him one of those old jokes that our piano player used to stand up and stow, and he said that he had just completed building a house in Stowe, and he said that he gave his architect an unlimited budget, and the guy exceeded it. And that's what's going on over in Building. We have those wonderful memories, and to me, the two great addresses, other than maybe 61 Mansfield Avenue or Billowdale Court and the Stowe Farmhouse. And at the Stowe Farmhouse, I feel that we have morphed into the lower generation so that we no longer have these parental cares or responsibility. We still are grandparents and great-grandparents, but hell, that's easy. Now, I want Mary Jane to take over, and she's even got a little script there, which is a good thing to have, and people are fumbling up here.
Good work.
Okay, thank you, but wow, he named all the important times and places, and hopefully I can add to it. But November is the month to remember all souls and saints, and we only have saints in our family, so that's easy. But Jim and Irene Allen and my sister Virginia, Ginny loved our growing family. That was my sister, and was happiest when treating two at a time. To a trip to Washington, D.C. and pampering each one of them. Mary and Nolan, each one of them, we each had a vacation home in Stowe, and we had more fun together as young couples up there, and we had many times. And Noli, of course, took care of all of our kids, especially Michael, who he saved in utero when I had a possible appendix burst, and Noli was there for us. Polly, what a wonderful sister she was. She and I just enjoyed each other so much, and we'll always remember her. And we remember Johnny Kane, who's way down there, and he was a little baby, and he loved to sleep in the cold, and we'd put him out in his carriage out on the porch, and we were freezing to death, and he wasn't. So that's great. My mom and dad and Leo and Bess were our everyday angels, always there to help. Leo was always just a phone call away to pick up all the kids and get them off Mom's hands for a while. Of course, Bess had everyone to lunch and cards as often as they could be snatched away. And every friend and relative who have touched our lives are so important. It all goes back to marriage and family. Nothing is more important. How very special children are, even after they've flown the nest. All parental authority has long since ceased, but family love has never ceased. And with our new longevity, we have years of enjoying family, relatives, and grands, especially all the great-grandchildren. And Riley Rose, and Shay, and
over here,
and Marina, and Avery, and Charlotte, and Jack Finnegan, and now Nora. And we now have Annie's and Chris's soon-to-be child, and Emily and Mike with twins coming up. So how can you beat that? Thank you for everyone. I did want it, I just want to.
Perfect.
But after everybody has to go home, there is wonderful Catherine Monstring things that going on down at the railroad station, and if anybody can possibly get there, it's wonderful to see. She's got cards and many artistic things. So the people who have never been to Vermont and Burlington, take a half hour and go on down there. It's easy. Okay.
Okay, we'll look forward to the 75th. Thanks for coming and all the great words. Appreciate it.